Well, welcome everyone. Thank you for being here. My name is Kyleigh LiPira. I'm the CEO of the Melanoma Research Foundation, and it is truly my pleasure to welcome you this morning and thank you for being here. We are so grateful to see so many of you coming from all over the country, internationally, to spend the weekend here with us. And I know that it's quite tight in here, and it's a good problem. We have more people than we were expecting. So that's really exciting, and we're really happy about that. So again, if anyone wants to take some seats up front, there are some seats up here. I just want to spend a minute and thank our sponsors. This program was completely funded by our pharmaceutical partners. So I would like to thank Novartis, BMS, Genentech, Aura, Provectus, and Immunocore. So let's just give them a nice hand. I would also like to acknowledge some of our amazing advocates and committee members who have spent countless hours helping to put this program together and overall just helping the CURE OM initiative with their programming. So I would like the CURE OM initiative steering committee to please stand, as well as the registry working group. If you could please. Right. Thank you. And then I would also like to acknowledge some of the MRF staff who are here. I want you all to sort of see their faces and know what they do. So when I say your name and give a shout out to what you do at the MRF, just sort of raise your hand because I know we're all over the place. But Adam Smart, who's our communications officer. Adam does all of our social media, does the blog posts, so everything you see online is Adam. I would also like to acknowledge Cassie Beisel at the back. Cassie is our advocacy officer. She runs our advocacy program and does a great job. You heard from her last night if you were there. Lauren Johnson, I don't know where Lauren is. She might be out in the hall. So Lauren is our program officer. This was a new position. So again, Lauren was part-time and she came on full-time and is managing the rare diseases. Sarah Seelig, who everyone knows is the director of the CURE OM initiative. And lastly, Beth Allgeier, and hopefully Beth is here. Beth runs our corporate relations department. I don't think she's here. She's in an ad board with our pharmaceutical partners. So I would also like our physicians and researchers to stand. We have a really dynamic program, and I think it's important that people see their faces and know who they are. So anyone who's a physician or a researcher, please stand. Wonderful. So again, thank you all for being here. I'm going to give you a sort of a high-level overview of the MRF and what we do. And again, this is background, but also linking together an overarching theme of the overall MRF organization and how the CURE OM initiative is infiltrated into all three parts of our mission. So with that, we were founded by a patient. Diana Ashby founded the MRF when she was frustrated with the lack of treatment options. She was diagnosed with cutaneous melanoma, and there was nothing available at the time in 1996. So with a few friends, she started fundraising and started canvassing the research community to try and find out what is out there and what could be done for cutaneous melanoma. And thus came the Melanoma Research Foundation. She passed away a few months before the first research grant was made, but her legacy lives on. And again, I think at our very core, we are a very patient-centric organization because of our founding. So we have a tripartite mission. We are a research funder. We are an educator, so educating patients, caregivers, physicians, and the community at large. And we're also an advocacy organization, so advocating on behalf of melanoma patients and their families, both on a federal and a state level. So I just want to touch a little bit on education, and we had a great focus group a few minutes ago that was reviewing a piece that's going to be coming out in May, an ocular melanoma patient guide, first of its kind. We've had this in cutaneous for many years, but this is the first time in ocular. It's going to be a great resource for patients, families, and physicians. And as you'll see on our website, we're constantly improving and adding to our educational library. So everything from online videos to webinars to the patient guide you see there. All of these educational resources are free. You can go on our website and you can request any educational resource to be sent to you at no charge. You can have them sent to you. You can have them sent to your doctor's office. They're available. We also have downloadable resources as well that you could print at home. So we just had last month our Advocacy and Hill Day, and you'll see the dates for next year in your program. This is our meeting on Capitol Hill that we have every year. It's a 1 day of training and sort of a landscape of what's happening in the field. We had a nice focus on rare disease. We had a lot of our ocular melanoma patients and families come out this year, and we're constantly working to make sure that the issues that are impacting the ocular melanoma community are heard on a federal level. So this is a really important time to go get your voice heard in front of the people who make the decisions. So this year we had 55 representative meetings, which was fantastic. So our reach. We have over 300,000 hits to our website every month. And the majority of this is from patients who are diagnosed and need resources. So that's what we provide. And everything from resources for our online patient community, how you can get connected with other patients, to downloading our educational materials, to finding out questions to ask your doctor. So I want to touch a little bit on our research arm. So again, at our core, we are research grant-making organizations, but over the year we evolved. So now we are also not only focused on research, but also education and advocacy, which I just mentioned. So we also have a big focus in ocular melanoma. We've given over $1.5 million in grants for ocular melanoma research, which is quite phenomenal. That's to date. This year, this is just a landscape. So over the years, over the last 20 years, this was to 2018, almost $17 million in research grant funding, 166 projects. That's been 69 institutions in 26 states. And that funds investigators at all stages of their career, so both junior and senior. These are our grant mechanisms. So we fund medical students, we fund career development, so that's generally physicians who are early on in their career. We fund established investigators, and we fund team awards. So this year we'll be giving out a CURE OM Team Award. And what a team award is it's multiple clinicians at different institutions all working on the same project. And what we have found with our team awards in the cutaneous space is that this accelerates science. So when you have multiple minds working on it that can collaborate and utilize each other's resources, it speeds up the science. So we're really excited about the CURE OM Team Science Award. So these are the awards here for this year. This is 2019. So our grant cycle for proposals closed on March 1st. So they're currently being reviewed. And so we'll be announcing the CURE OM Team Science Award in August. So it's a peer-reviewed process. So we have experts from all over the country in ocular melanoma reviewing these grants, and it's a peer-reviewed process. So they're scored based on the NIH scoring. So it's very, very competitive, and it's a very rigorous process because we want to fund the best science. We want to fund science that's going to lead to a cure or an advancement in treatment. So here you can sort of see the areas of funded research. Our big focus has been on treatment. We want to focus on the basic research that's going to lead to better treatments. And in August of 2018, we did an ROI. So we wanted to see, okay, over the last 20 years, we funded all this research, $17 million in research. What has the impact been on the field? And this study was led by our scientific officer. And as you can see, over the last 20 years, 181 publications, 346 presentations at scientific conferences, which is incredibly important because this is where people are hearing what's going on in the field. 5 patents, 15 clinical trials, 62 grants with new collaborations, and 41 grants with new funding support. So that means our MRF grant was a catalyst for an investigator to receive additional funding. Maybe it's an NIH grant or DoD funding. So again, as I mentioned at the beginning, we are very patient-centric, and I want to just talk for just a minute on how you can be involved in that process. So what CURE OM did a few years ago, which now the entire MRF is rolling out, is we're involving advocates in the grant review process. So that means as a layperson, you can read and review the grants and provide your insight. And it's been critical in the CURE OM space, and now it's being rolled into the overall general MRF grant process. So again, you could be a grant reviewer, you could be a focus group member. So today we held 2 focus groups. One, again, was reviewing this literature, getting the patient perspective, and the other was with our pharma partners for metastatic disease. So again, we are constantly asking patients for their feedback and involvement. The third is a committee member. We have many committees. As you saw, our steering committee stood up, many opportunities to get involved. This could be on a steering committee, or it could also be on one of our event committees. We have 5K races across the country, galas, a lot of events. You have in your program, you have a whole list of all the events happening around the country. So again, I would just encourage you, if you want to get involved, there are many opportunities. Patient panels. We are asked quite frequently by our industry partners to identify patients who might want to participate in a panel. This is your chance to have your voice heard. It's very important to get involved, especially with our industry partners, to give them that feedback. So again, we might be reaching out to people from time to time to participate in an industry panel. So again, if you're interested, please let us know. And then lastly, being an advocate or spokesperson. I introduced Adam earlier. We have an incredible online presence, over 300,000 hits a month to our website. People share their stories. People want to hear stories about other people going through the same thing that they've gone through. So I would encourage you, if you're interested in sharing your story, talk to Adam, talk to me. We would love to help share your experience and highlight what you have gone through to our community. So with that, I think we're probably going to keep questions to the end because I know I'm running on. But again, I would just like to thank you all for being here, and thank you for sharing your stories and sharing your time. And with that, I would like to introduce Dr. Sarah Kyleigh, who is the director of the CURE OM initiative, who is a huge advocate for the ocular melanoma community and has been personally affected by this disease, which I think makes her even more passionate and more dedicated. And I'm thrilled that she's going to be here the whole weekend. So.